When I was a kid, I'm gonna pull the fucking banana out at the end. That's so funny. I remember when I was a child, this one day I was playing with one of my sister's friends, and she said that we were all gonna go and meet like this other group of young people our age. And I was playing with this basketball, like I think it was her basketball, right? I'm playing like on the street with her. And I was almost like singing to myself and to like, out loud. And I said something whilst like playing with the basketball, like, oh, we're gonna go and show off in front of the other group. And this was like a pretty cool, like hot girl, right? So she looked at me and it's like, no, we're not gonna show off. Like, that's not what we're doing here. But I thought about it, like I was a kid, right? But I saw the truth of the situation. You're almost always showing off, and especially so when you act like you're not. You know the people who say like, oh, I don't care what anyone thinks of me. Fucking bullshit. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. I just care about what I think about myself. Shut up. Fucking absolute fucking liar, right? I just go to the gym for myself. Fuck you, liar. I'm just like, I'm not doing this for anyone else. I'm just doing this for me. I'm not competing. People say shit like this all the time, like, which basically deteriorates the value of the judgment of others because they try and act like that's like, it's kind of cool to act like you don't care about other people. It's cool to pretend that you don't want the attention of others. And it's fucking bullshit. It was bullshit then, 20 years ago when I was a kid. It was bullshit. Now it's even like doubly bullshit because of the fact that attention seekers make millions. Like being an attention seeker literally makes you like millions of dollars these days. It's not just bullshit not to be an attention seeker and to pretend you don't care. Now it's just plain like retarded. Anyone who says like, oh, well, I don't care about attention, whatever, I'm not trying to look cool in front of other people. I could have let you off with that 10, 20 years ago, but now in the age of social media, in the attention economy, not being an attention seeker is kind of like not going mining for gold, or at least selling the shovels for the gold. It's the greatest opportunity of our lifetime so far anyway, is capturing attention on social media. And people will try and act like it's cool to like not give a shit about that, And I find that so retarded. Like I'll speak to so many people who will say like, oh yeah, well, I don't care about all this social media stuff. And they're not saying it in the lens that I sometimes say it, where I say like, I don't really consume so much. I don't really want to look at like so much shit on social media. But I'm a creator for sure. Like I'm posting content for sure. But this is like especially important for you. Look, if you're watching this right now, especially on this channel, you probably do have the desire to do well on social media. You probably do have the desire to make money online. And if that's the case, this is like a weird thing. You need to outwardly just accept the fact that it is attention seeking that will help you with this. I made a previous video on this channel where I said actually that being a bit more of like a narcissist, arrogant person helps you in social media, because it absolutely does. Like you need to have this almost narcissistic belief that everyone wants to learn from you. Everyone is like, so obsessed with watching you. And it's quite similar to this as well, where you need to just tell yourself, like you need to brainwash yourself right now and tell yourself this as like a new belief of your values, that you are an attention seeker, and gladly, because not being an attention seeker in the modern days is fucking retarded. This is like one of my first times cooking properly, because usually I just like order from restaurants and stuff, and because it's like faster to do that. But recently I've just been thinking that when I have children, I would be cooking for them myself, or at least we'll cook in-house with a chef or something, because I want to control the food that me and my family eat, because I think that's like such an important input that can change like how you feel. So I've started cooking myself recently now. But you know what, along with this though, I don't want you to take the wrong idea with this. I think being an attention seeker is a really good thing in the modern day, because you can make money from social media. But if it was on a spectrum from like skinny neck modern day brokey who says like, I don't care what anyone thinks and he's fucking poor, then attention seeking is at the beautiful middle. And then at the most extreme side is what I would call like clown maxing. And this is like the people you see, clavicular, Bonnie Blue, the type of people who like, you can tell that they're really going to the extreme just to try and get attention. There's attention seeking, which is like, okay, I'm stood here and I'm cooking and I'm making content and, you know, I'll talk about my quite controversial, polarizing opinions. That's like a really healthy middle in between the skinny neck broke people and the rich people, because clown maxing does make you rich, but who have traded their soul for it and they're going to be embarrassed by the shit that they've been doing in the last few years. So I wouldn't go that far. I personally, for me, every time I've taken a step into that direction, I've ended up regretting it. So I wouldn't go into full like clown maxing mode. I would stay at like a really healthy middle where, for example, I would say attention seeking is where you will talk about your controversial opinions with your full like conviction that they are true. People don't come to the internet for like social media content for like ifs and maybes. You know, this might help you, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like people, like I remember people would say this to me when I was growing on social media. They'd be like, oh, like, you know, Hamza talks with like too much conviction and, you know, sometimes he's wrong. Well, yeah, sure, but do you think I'm gonna record a video saying like, oh, well guys, you know, if you meditate, maybe it would help you? Fuck you. Do you think some fucking like young guy who hates his life, who's jacking off 6 times a day, is gonna start doing something as hard as meditation if it might help him? Fuck that, I'm gonna tell him it will change your life. This is the same thing you need to do. If you want to be like a creator in the modern day, you need to start telling people like the belief that you have with full conviction that it's gonna work. You know, no ifs and maybes, no bullshit like this. You just tell them straight up like, okay, this is the way it is. Now that's one, it will get the message across better, but two, it actually captures more attention because people in the modern day, we don't want like this medium nuanced bullshit, you know? That's like such a skinny neck, you know, the type of creators who make social commentary videos. I don't know how long you're supposed to cook a steak for, so. And this is a thick slice of steak. Let's see. This is the first steak I've ever cooked in my life. It smells like shit. That's okay because everything in life is like a skill and you start off pretty shit and then you get better and better. The inside is like fucking raw. Okay, that's probably good enough actually. The big lesson for you to take away is to just understand that seeking attention is one, it's, you know, in the modern day, it's a profitable thing, like I was just saying. But interestingly too, I really want to normalize it to you to actually say seeking attention is such a normal human trait. Like when you really think about like the caveman times, the person who didn't seek attention, the person who was saying to themselves, you know, the skinny neck kid who reads like Marcus Aurelius fucking Carl Jung gay books, and they say like, oh, well, I don't care about the opinions of others and whatever. How inhuman that is. How like fucking, like how much of a lie and how bullshit that is to not care about the judgments of your fellow people, to not care about like the opinions of people who are in your tribe. I think the modern day is, I'm sick of seeing people like this. Like I've always from the start of my channel tried to normalize to you that seeking attention and wanting the validation from people who have similar values to you, who are in your tribe, is an absolutely normal and healthy thing. If you're a creator and you find yourself wanting, you know, more attention on your social media content, or let's say you're not even a creator, let's say that, for example, you, oh, that actually looks pretty good. Let's say you're not a creator, but you find yourself still wanting more attention from people like, for example, your family, your friends, from girlfriends, whatever. I think it's so foolish to push away this desire that you have and to hear the judgments of others who say like, I don't care what anyone thinks of me. I care, and I'm richer than them, and my life is better than these little skinny neck people. Like in every conceivable metric, the people who disagree with my advice, I'm better than them. I am like quite literally just a better human being at everything. And in the weirdest way, I'm also more like humble and I have more humility than the little retard little losers who try to criticize shit like this, and they're like the skinny neck, like the guy who sounds mature, who says like, oh, well, I don't care what anyone thinks of me. I don't care about the judgment of others, because they're the most insecure people of all. The person who's just a healthy, natural human being who says, well, yeah, of course I care about the judgments of others because it's an important thing. That's not insecurity. That's just being a fucking human. But the person who talks about like, well, I don't care what anyone thinks of me, that's real insecurity. It's the fucking kids who read like, like the fucking skinny neck, greasy hair, spotty fucking philosophy reading little dorks who they use X, for example. Of all the social media, they use X. Like the fucking worst human beings use fucking X, I swear to God. And they act like they're intellectual. They act like, their way is right, that they're so intelligent and all this. It's fucking bullshit. We have some, we have some halloumi now as well. If I could go back in time, the thing is I never really fell for this lie of like, don't care about the validation of others, don't be an attention seeker. I never really fell for it, but still, there were so many times when people would comment on my videos, or maybe they said it to me in person, that this trait of being like a bit of an attention seeker is like a bad thing and you shouldn't care about the judgments of others. And sometimes I did almost like fall for it. Like sometimes I did kind of like listen to it and pay attention to what those people were saying. And it was like, if I could go back in time, I'd be more successful and oddly more happy at the same time as well. Yeah, we'll just have one actually. We have a papaya. I don't really, oh, wow, that cuts so easy. I think I just have this piece like that. I used to think fruit was cope, and I'm maybe still agreeing with that. I'm trying it out anyway. I'm always down to like challenge my own opinions. That's another thing that like assholes always try to criticize me about, saying like, oh, I changed my mindset, I changed my opinions. Well, yeah, of course, like I'm always down to like test against my beliefs. That's why like I quite seem sometimes like fickle, where I'll contradict myself and I'll say like, oh, I'm doing this other thing that I told you wasn't really a good idea. Because I'm always down to see if I was wrong. I'm always down to like try the other method, right? When I talk like this, like I did in this video, I'm not talking from like a one-sided opinion from like just a guy who's always been an attention seeker. I'm actually talking to you, which is very, very rare, from both sides, in the sense that I've been an attention seeker and I've also had periods in 2023 where I wasn't seeking attention at all. I should tell you about that actually, because basically for most of my life, I've been an attention seeker and it's served me well. And I've made about $5 million, or a bit more than $5 million now in my 20s, which is pretty fucking remarkable when you think about it, from being an attention seeker. And there was a time in 2023 where I stopped being an attention seeker and I started to read like these philosophy books, and I started to become more mature and spiritual and all this shit, right? I stepped into the opinions of the skinny neck, ungroomed, spiritual little weirdos, right? The greasy hair, ungroomed beard, don't care about the opinions of others, that kind of mindset. So I thought to myself like, fuck it, this is the complete opposite personality to me. Let me give it a try. Let's see what happens when I become like spiritual and, not craving validation and whatever. So this was 2023, and anyone who knows me quite well, anyone who's especially bought my paid programs knows exactly what I'm about to say. Basically, like everything in my life got worse at the same time in 2023 because of this. Basically, like let's say the tangible things that I changed. I stopped lifting for aesthetics, like for looking good, and I started training like functional fitness bullshit, So I started doing this gay like Brian Johnson routine, this like sled walk backwards and all this shit, right? And one, that stuff is like deeply ineffective compared to like just doing the fundamentals, squatting with full range of motion, whatever. And also, like, if you want some real functional fitness is fucking martial arts. Like, that's real functional. The ability to grab a fucking human being and flex your backwards to throw him this side or to strike, whatever. That's real functional fitness. This isn't functional fitness with a fucking sled. How often are you doing this in fucking real life? fuck you. Fuck you, right? So I started, this was like my only workout, right? This and like gay little step downs and Nordic curls, which everyone's obsessed with. Fuck you, right? So I was doing this. Physique got worse, and interestingly, like the little pains that I've always had didn't even get better. So physique got worse, pains didn't get better. One day I'm in the gym, and there was a girl I used to fuck, right? She was like this. She used to work at the gym, right? And she's like, she's like sexy, whatever, she was there. And she's training with another guy. This was like, months after I stopped seeing her. She's training with another guy who was training like I used to, aggressive, pushing heavy weight and whatever. And I was just thinking like, that used to be me. That used to be me. I used to train like the way that I wanted to. That was authentic to me. I used to push this weight hard and everything. And I just felt like so misaligned. And in the weirdest way, you would be saying, oh, well, that's insecure because you saw someone else. I was like, no. I realized like, I'm like, people think this is how it is. The people who are craving validation are here, and the people who don't really crave validation are here. No. I'm here above the people. I was doing the non-validation craving thing. I'm like training for functional fitness, right? I'm not seeking attention at all. And I was doing it and I was like, hang on a minute. This is more insecure than that. This, people think attention seeking is like insecure. No. Not attention seeking is the real insecurity. Imagine that day, I'm in the gym doing my gay little sled pulls, right? I'm doing this. And I'm seeing this guy who's training with the girl I used to fuck, right? We weren't like in a relationship, but it was like, it's not like I was there so upset. It was one girl I used to smash like the year before. Who gives a fuck, right? But still, obviously, like, let's be honest, for any guy, like, you're still gonna think something when you see the girl that you used to be with, when she's with a new guy. You're gonna like see something, right? And I was thinking about it quite like, when I'm doing my gay little exercise, and I was like, hang on, this culture of like, oh yeah, don't care what anyone thinks of you. Don't train to look sexy. Train just to feel good. In a weird way, that's the bigger insecurity. Because I was doing that form of exercise, like the hard, aggressive style exercise. And I was just having fun. Like I liked my life more. The real insecurity is doing things which is less enjoyable because it seems more mature. Getting attention from people is enjoyable, and it is like, it's authentic to you because you're a human being. It's insecure to say like, oh, well, I don't care about the attention from other people. That's the real insecurity because they can't admit that they're human beings, right? I wonder if anyone else is catching on to what I'm saying here, because I feel like this will fly over the heads of like most people. I genuinely, I know for a fact, I'm more mature and intellectual than the actual intellectual little dorks who think they're smart. Everyone who's on X, fucking little weirdos, right? And they've got this, like, everyone's got this vibe these days of thinking that they're like, oh, I don't care what anyone thinks about me. Oh, influencers are all this. Like, shut up. Like, anytime someone says this shit, like they'll make fun of influencers, for example. I'm just thinking like, yeah, but you're poor. Being an influencer, being a content creator is the best way to make money in human history. And it's basically by monetizing attention. And to criticize that and to not take it seriously because you're so insecure to say like, oh, well, I don't care about the validation of people. I don't care about, the attention from people. That's real insecurity. So if you're watching this right now and you are actually like, you agree with me, like fuck these people off. If you agree with me, how can you use this practically? You need to get good at the skill of attention seeking, because that's what being a content creator actually is. Whether you're an educator, whether you're an entertainer, the real skill of being I don't think this is right. That's pretty good. The real skill of being like a content creator, whether you are an educator or even entertainer, is actually just capturing attention. So think to yourself, how can you go more into the healthy middle of attention seeking, where you're away from the people who think attention seeking is a bad thing, but you're also at a healthy distance away from the clown maxers, you know, the people who are going full clown mode, extreme mode. Bonnie Blue, I fucked 1,000 guys in a day, and now I'm pregnant and nobody knows who the father is, whatever. And Clavicular, yeah, I take drugs to make my jawline look better. That's like full clown mode, right? These people are still smart, by the way. They're still making a fuck ton of money. But it's like, yeah, but money's not the only thing in life. Like money and also like integrity and honor is an important thing. And it's like trading your integrity, your honor, your self-respect for money is just like, it's like here. You can get rich as fuck whilst also not being a clown. Rich whilst being a clown and capturing a ton of attention for like negative shit of like, oh yeah, well, you know, I hit my face to like make my bone look different. Or yeah, I got fucked by 1,000 guys in one day. It's here. Like, sure, you got rich, fair enough, but like, you know, like slave mindset, congratulations, you know? But the higher level is you get rich whilst also living true to your values and being like a good fucking person that helps other people. So, and you know what's interesting is, I might be, I might regret saying this, but if you right now you are finding yourself not capturing the attention you want, there could be a big possibility that you are actually not being as controversial and as polarizing as you could be. And you think you're somewhere in the healthy middle, but actually you're like very tame. You're like being so careful with your words and the type of content that you're making that basically you're just forgetful. Like people just like, you're not memorable. And I feel like, you know what, I feel like for this audience on this channel and for a lot of people who are in my influencer school, I feel like that's actually the constraint. I think basically anyone who's really watching this now, apart from like my 3 fucking haters who watch every one of my fucking videos, they've been edging this entire time when I say their names, like Ghastly02. What's the other guy's name? My brother sent me like Aesthetic something. Like, oh yeah, he finally, like after 4 fucking years, I finally said their names. Congratulations, guys. You made it. I became a millionaire in the time that you were hating on me. What happened in your lives, boys? Yeah, but I think for most of the guys who are watching this, if you're in my program for the students and everything, I would actually say most of you are more on this side of the spectrum, where you're actually like, you're playing it so safe that your opinions aren't even like controversial, like at all. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, guys, eat less and move more. Oh, well, I go to the gym only 3 times a week. You know, you don't have to go 6. Fuck me. You don't have to go like 6 times, but fuck you, bro. Come on. Stop being a fucking pussy. Tell us like some more of your real, like unfiltered values, right? Tell us like, remember my second channel, Hamza Unfiltered, and I would like talk a bit more abrasively. Like one of the first videos on that channel was, if you have a dream car, you're probably a pussy. You've got to have some opinions that will like trigger some people. You know, the video I made on this channel, last one was, I was making fun of people who like read philosophy books and shit. It's stuff I actually believe. I'm not going full clown mode pretending to be someone I'm not or whatever. That's stuff I actually believe. But it's more like you just say the things that you know will kind of insult some people. And maybe you don't want to go full like aggressive swearing mode like I do. That's my personality. You don't have to do that. But I have a feeling for like a lot of the guys who watch me, you're playing it too safe. I think that's probably what it is. You're like, you have some opinions which are a little bit controversial, even a little bit different from like what your industry norm is. And you don't say them because you're just being a bit too careful. So I'll tell you a little story to help with this, right? When I first started YouTube back in like 2020, I was only making videos about like fitness and whatever. And the first video I made about girls, it got 1 out of 10 on the YouTube analytics. I remember it was like so clear to me that I should make more videos about dating, sex, porn and stuff. My mum comes through my door and she's like, "Hey, come on," like, you know, she's got her headdress on. "Hey, come on," like she's basically saying like, oh, like in a religious way, like, "Oh no, like you've sinned, like you've done such a bad thing. Don't talk about these things." And I continued talking about girls and porn because I knew that it was such an important topic. That's what people wanted to see. That was like, back then, obviously it's not very controversial to talk about girls and shit right now, but this was 2020. Most people weren't making, like dating influencers were a little bit like underground, you know, but there was no one who was like getting big with the sort of red pill style dating sort of advice that I was giving. And so I had this decision to listen to my mum and play it safe, or to think, you know what, fuck it, this video did well. It captured a lot of attention. It seemed like it really helped people because it is a topic that's so important. Fuck it, let's go ahead and like just post more. And I swear to God, like almost every time my mum would come in and she'd get more and more angry at me and more sad, saying that like, you know, our family watches the videos. It's gunar milga, which means like you will get punishment from God, basically, is that what she was saying from me. And I remember this one tip that I'm gonna leave you with, where I started to think, you know what? It's a good video if my mum walks through the door and acts like this. That has now become like my standard of like a video where I'm actually being brave and I'm seeking the right kind of attention. Maybe not the right kind of attention, but at least some kind of attention, especially back then when it was new for me to talk about this stuff. The kind of stuff that would trigger my mum into coming over to me and saying like, what are you doing? For you, maybe it's the kind of stuff that like, you know, your old friends will message you about, or they'll share in the screenshot, like, oh my God, look, he's talking about this, he's talking about porn or girls or whatever. That is like the kind of response that you want. You want some people to be shocked by the fact that you're talking about this stuff. It's pretty good, actually. It's like a little bit pink in the middle, but kind of crispy on the outside, which is actually exactly how I like steak. With a bit of halloumi on the side. Pretty good. So for you, think about the kind of videos you can make that will get some kind of response from people. It could be, you know, someone in your family, it could be like old friends or even like haters on the internet, whatever. Think about the level of attention it's gonna get. But I think what really helps is to think of a specific person and the way that they would respond. So, for example, on my Instagram, I have a couple of reels. They're probably buried down now, but they were probably like some of my best reels, and anyone who followed me for a few years knows which ones. It's like the ones which I actually edited myself, which was just clips of me kind of like in the city when I was on a trip. And it's got like some kind of cool music on, and I'm walking through the city, and then I'm on a date with a girl, and then I'm like in the gym with the boys, and then I'm like handshaking someone, whatever. That was the kind of content I remember where when I was making it, I sometimes used to think, like I used to think of a specific like hater, you know, people who make like videos about me, knowing that they will watch this and they will, one, feel insecure, but in a way that they won't admit that they're actually inspired, and they will go on to copy it. And I remember literally looking at my phone the other day, because I checked on one of them, like not the other day, but you know, a few days later, I checked on one of like my biggest haters. Motherfucker literally took the exact same song, which like, the song was like not a famous one at all, and used one for his reels where he was basically trying to like recreate it, like handshaking his fucking friend, checking his watch like a fucking robot like this. And that's like you want that kind of like, I think it helps if you think of a very specific person and you think about what their response is gonna be. So for you, you could think, okay, I want my mom to like click on this video and to get pissed off at me because I'm talking about something that like our family doesn't talk about, but it's important to talk about. Or I want my old friends to send each other screenshots of this video because they're like thinking it's crazy or whatever. I want to mug my old like high school friends who treated me like shit, whatever it is. I think that's like a pretty good way, because you know, when you think about a general sense of like, I want more views, it's a little bit weak, right? It's like, it doesn't really help you to think that way. I want more attention. It doesn't help you, like you don't make any better content. If you think of a specific person and what emotion or response you want to put into them, I think that will help you to attract more attention in social media. I think the game of social media, honestly, I think is fucking sick. And I think the people, like by now, you know, anyone who's watching this video is actually like in our tribe, basically. I think the people who think that like, oh, attention seeking is a bad thing, I think they're missing out so much, because how fucking sick is this business model? I can just try cooking a steak for the first time, post this video, I'll make like, usually about like $2,000 every time I post. Like how fucking nice is that? I used to work full time for like 1.2, 1.3K or some shit like that. And this makes more in like fucking what, 34 minutes or some shit. I can't see the time, but like, I'm just gonna guess it's 34. Fucking sweet, right? So, let's leave it with a cheers for this week's episode of my influencer podcast. We have some raw milk, and then we have a organic banana. I can finally pull this out.